What you got? A plant. The mud's turning dry.
Yeah, because of the sun. It's turned dry. Can we actually do that?
No.
What are you wanting?
A tree house with zip lines.
A tree house with zip lines? Where do you want the zip lines to go, Ben?
One? No.
To the greenhouses?
Where else?
To the back porch.
Into the back porch. So we'll just have zip lines all over the place.
What about the Grandma Me's house?
Sure.
What about Grandpa Andy?
Yeah.
We'll just zip line all over.
Yeah, and then we can zip line to Grandpa's Andy and the spinning over there. And then we can just go.
That's not Lucas, that's Gary.
That's Gary. Say hey, Gary.
He looks kind of like your kitty Lucas, but that's Gary.
His name's Gary.
Can you say Gary? Saturday morning, hanging out in the garden with family. We're having some friends over this evening, so we got a little bit of work to do out here, just tying some stuff up and kind of picking up the soil bags and stuff that ended up blown all over the place after the storm the other day. You got your plant here? You've got a plant for his Darth Vader planter.
Did you already show him the Darth Vader planter?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I chose this one. Do you know why?
Why?
Because it's got dark elements and light elements. So it's like an internal battle, like Darth Vader with the light and the dark.
You're taking plant variegation to a whole new level.
Morgan Gold will appreciate this. It's also an ornamental pepper. And so I'm just gonna imagine that these are like super spicy because, you know, Darth had a really big temper. It smells like tomatoes out here. Can you smell that? The tomato plants? I actually cannot. Oh yeah, Jeremiah has a terrible sense of smell, actually. He really does. Like, we'll walk in somewhere, I'll be like, what stinks? And he'll just be like, what are you talking about? I can smell everything. He can't smell anything. When's the last time you were down here? It's been a few days, right? It's been a few days. Like, a lot has gotten bigger and changed. Yeah. I mean, I think the last time I was here, there was only one tomato with fruit. Now I can see there's a ton. Yeah, they're all setting fruit. I need to bring my tie tape down here and tie these up. A lot of them are falling over after that rain. But we have tons of little baby tomatoes. Ben, look.
What are these?
They're called Italian heirlooms.
Whoa.
Are you looking forward to eating a tomato sandwich? What's your favorite way to eat tomatoes? Like that? What about, like, do you like to just eat them plain? Or do you like to eat tomato sandwiches?
Tomato sandwiches.
So someone suggested that I make a video of my first tomato sandwich of the year. And I'm like, yes, we will definitely do that. What tomato are you hoping ripens first? Well, I know which one will. Whichies? Well, there's two plants down here. Whenever Daniel was visiting a couple of months ago, whenever it was before our last frost date, I actually, like, we took a risk and we planted these two because I wanted to let him plant some tomatoes because he was going to miss out on that. And so this is a Paul Robeson and a Dr. Weitch's that, Dr. Witchy? That we put in early, like rebelliously planted before the last frost date. And then we didn't get frost, so they're like significantly larger than the rest. Some of them are catching up. Some are catching up, but I think this may be our first. One of these might be our first ripe tomatoes. They're still pretty small right now, but. Now, if we could figure out how to grow a little bit of flour, like wheat, and then grind it up and make flour, and then you bake bread, your tomato sandwich could technically be made completely from the farm. Yeah, I'm gonna let go of the growing wheat thing. Why not? I can bake bread and it still be pretty impressive. From store-bought flour. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. Oh my gosh. I've been surprised how many people have not known what a tomato sandwich is. Is that a southern thing? Help me out, friends. Is it southern to eat tomato sandwiches? Basically, like, a tomato sandwich is white bread, typically, you know, like thick cut white bread is the way to go, with mayonnaise, a big ol' like honkin' slice of tomato, and salt and pepper. And you know, if you want to get crazy, bacon added. And then I guess if you add lettuce, then you've just got a BLT. But a tomato sandwich in itself is tomato mayo on white bread. So is that a southern thing? Have you ever had a tomato sandwich? Do you know about this gloriousness that is the taste of summer?
It's not the taste of summer.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What's the taste of summer to you?
Snow cones.
Snow cones? You can't grow that.
I know. But that's what I think of when I think of tasting summer. Wedding cake, snow cone with cream.
Oh my gosh. The taste of summer for me is definitely tomato sandwiches. Watermelon, which I could live off of. I love watermelon so much. And basil. Like, I actually realized that I had not planted enough basil in the garden the other day. I've got a few plants, and I've got a few holy basil plants, which is really different. It's Tulsi, and it's not like your typical summer basil. And I had planted some like Thai basil and a couple of other things, but just basic sweet basil, I didn't have any. And so I took a package of basil seeds and just went willy-nilly through the garden with them the other day to make sure that I would have enough basil for my fix. I love basil. I love basil lemonade. That's probably one of my favorite things to drink through the summer. Strawberry basil lemonade. And just with everything. You know, tomato, mozzarella, basil salads, and in salads, like just putting basil leaves in salads. Oh my goodness, I love basil so much. It's definitely a summer taste. The other thing is like cucumbers, just the garden food, fresh in the summer. I'm so ready. What are you looking at?
Is that the berry?
No, actually that is the Napa Chardonnay blush.
It's gotten big.
That has been the fastest growing tomato plant this year, is this Napa Chardonnay blush. And it is just loaded down with fruit. It's a cherry.
Where all are your cucumbers at?
Here are some cucumbers. Daniel mentioned this the other day. Check out this scatation that's happening here. All of these droplets are being emitted from this plant. It happens in the night. It has to do with pressure, relieving the excess moisture in the plant. Isn't that neat? I love coming out in the morning and seeing that. Look down in there. That is the first little baby cucumber I've seen in the garden this year. We've got some more cucumbers down here. Here are Armenian white cucumbers on this. The okra harvest has begun, and I see multiple pieces down here on these plants that are ready to be harvested. Now this is the Texas Hill Country, and they're kind of wide and squatty. They're actually not my favorite to eat raw because they're just a little bit tough, but they're great roasted and fried, but you can't eat them raw. Okra, maybe a little bit of an acquired taste, I don't know. It's got kind of a strange texture because it does have all the mucilage inside of it, so people sometimes say it's a little snotty. I don't really think so. It kind of coats your mouth, but not in a weird... I'm kind of a texture person, and it's not too hard for me to handle, but it is really good. My favorite for like fresh eating are the more skinny ones if you're going to eat them raw, but I really love these big fat thick ones for slicing up in medallions and frying. They're also really good roasted. You can just put them whole in a hot oven with a little oil and some kosher salt on them and roast them until they kind of start to blister in some places, and that's a really good way to eat okra. I've had a lot of people ask me, well, how do you use it? There are a lot of ways to use okra. You can pickle it, eat it raw, fried of course is the most common thing I think people know of, or in gumbos, soups, roasted, grilled. I feel a little like Bubba Gump, but I really want to convince you to grow okra. It is really, really a good thing to grow, and it just thrives on neglect. It does so well in poor soil. Some of my garlics are starting to die back some, which means we're getting pretty close to harvesting them. I don't want to rush, and so I'm going to give them a little while longer, but they're looking pretty close. I've got more cucumbers coming up down here. And here. I actually planted 4 trellises with cucumbers. And then the kids have half of one of their trellises. So we should have quite a few.
And you're gonna put cucamelon starts on that?
Yeah, actually I'll probably move those cucamelons out here pretty soon. Look at these zinnias opening up. Aren't they pretty?
Thanks, bunny.
You gonna plant your plant?
Yeah.
That is a pretty epic planter. That's so cute. I love that you went and bought a plant. It's really cute. Hey Gary, what's up under there, little dude? Perfect place for a cat nap. What are y'all doing?
We were at our work.
Y'all are at your work?
Yeah, because I was pruning the grass.
You were pruning the grass. Okay, that's a good thing for you to work on pruning on.
Because the grass was too tall and there's too much grass, so I started pruning them.
Cool. Come on, dudes, let's go check on the pigs. Ben was pruning the grass.
Well, good practice, I guess.
Yes, that's good. That's a good thing for him to be pruning. I taught Ben to prune tomato plants, but it has to be pretty heavily supervised because a few of the tomato plants got pruned right down to the ground. Hey, handsome. Hey, handsome boy. So we've had several comments about Con lately, and I wanted to just really briefly address them. We've had multiple people say, why is your big black dog always in the backyard? He never gets any love. So one thing that you have to remember, and I think it's probably easy to forget from a viewer standpoint, that every single time you have ever seen my farm on your screen, I was holding a camera. Basically, when you're getting the window into this world is whenever I'm walking around with a camera. And Con is a 110-pound, 11-month-old puppy who can kill a chicken in 1 pounce, who does not know how to behave with the goats, who doesn't really know how to stay with us yet. He doesn't really run off, but I don't really want to give him any opportunities because, you know, if he runs out on the road, it only takes a second for something to happen. So while our attention is divided, like with making a video, Con is where he is not going to be a danger to himself or anything else, which is usually like in the backyard or in his crate. He does get plenty of time with our family. He sleeps inside. He hangs out with us. He's a good dog. He's just a really big puppy, and so we have to be mindful of that. So Gerard and Fanny and Clem are all in together now. The other day when Daniel was here, he helped Maya with setting this up. They moved them back here. And the back part of this property is just wildly different. You can see it's all cleared over there. It's so crazy. And then of course back here. And soon the pigs are gonna have a lot more space. Right now we haven't put up the permanent fences, so we're just using this Premier One pig fencing and some electric lines. All of this is just like the metal and trash that they pulled out of the woods. And of course we still have some big piles back here to deal with. Hey Jeff. Sometimes I wonder if these quick vlogs, like in the mornings, I wonder if they feel overwhelming to you, or boring. You know, like it's the weirdest thing because I take you guys around and I'm like, surely, is this extraordinary? It feels so ordinary. And you know, I walk through the garden and I see so many tasks that need to be done, and walk back to the pigs and see how much we got done, but there's still so much left to do. And you know, at the end of that, I find myself wishing I had something inspirational or some summation that I could lay out for you that would make it feel better. But I really think that sometimes just the honest glimpse of everyday life might be the most encouraging thing to share, because every day is not about a victory. Some days are just about plugging forward. Even though you have a bunch of kids to take care of and you have way too many tasks, then you have time to do them. And it's about just keeping on. I don't know. That's life sometimes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this morning. God bless you. Until next time.